I wanted to touch base on destiny swapping. And so for me, I had multiple people wanting to destiny swap with me. And I didn't know why, right? And I didn't even understand what that was. At first, when my spirit team shared with me what a certain person was trying to do, I didn't see it as anything big. I didn't understand what it was. And so I kept praying and giving these people grace, right? And then I understood what it meant and why I had to be at a certain vibration. And by that, I mean like I had to be feeling guilty, shame, remorse, bothered, resentful, operating from a spirit of unforgiveness. I had to be all those things because in order for a destiny swap to work, they have to embody your energy and have you believe that you are those things, right? So through divination, people are able to see what your destiny holds, right? And so I didn't know that divination was a thing. And I didn't know how to tap into that either. I was very naive to the spiritual realm, and I just didn't know about it. And if I did hear about it, it wasn't something that I would just go in and search for or dig into, because I just wasn't raised like that. I wouldn't. It wasn't something that was usual for me. Let's just say that. So in order for a destiny swap to work, you have to be in a state of not using your energy, not embodying your essence, not living in your truth, right? And so for many years, I didn't live in my truth and I didn't embody my energy or embody my essence because I was carrying myself in the way that I thought other people wanted me to carry myself, if that makes sense. And while I protected other people's image and preserved their feelings, it caused pain to me. And I wouldn't live in my truth. I would numb my truth or deny it or look the opposite way of it, right? And so what that did for these people was that it made it easier for them to occupy my space. So I'm physically here, but somebody's walking around with my characteristics, if that makes sense. So if I exhibit characteristics of kindness, of love, of nurturing, right? This other person would make other people believe that I wasn't any of those things, right? And they would create a false narrative. And then they would walk around as if they were the nurturing, caring, kind, loving person. So when a destiny swap happens, there's always a false narrative that is at play. And so this other person wouldn't come and say it to me directly, but to other people, they would present this image, right? And so people would look at me in a certain way because they were believing this specific narrative about me that I wasn't aware that was happening, but I did kind of know. I just didn't have the courage to address it because these narratives were coming from people who were held in high honor to me. Like I held this person in high honor, so I wouldn't go around and address the person about it or accuse them of lying, I would just let it go, because I held them in high honor. And at one point, I questioned my own reality, whether it was true or not. Like at one point, I was like, well, maybe I am this way, or maybe, because the goal is that you have to also believe it, right? So in order for a destiny swap to take place, there has to be a false narrative, right? And there has to be, it's a false narrative, and you have to believe it. You have to believe the false narrative, which also leads you to like being depressed, staying in bed, being sad, not wanting to do things, having a lack of energy to do things, because as you're here in bed or sick, you are not using your energy, and you're not doing the things that make you happy, or doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, right? So now this other person is walking with your energy, with your essence, uh, misleading people with a false narrative, and therefore now they get a group of people now, right, that believe this false narrative, or that are able to communicate the same thing to the universe, right? And then this is how the destiny swap will be effective. They have the false narrative happening. They have you believing the false narrative. They have a group of people supporting that false narrative, right? And then therefore now they are able to fool the universe, indicating that, yes, my love, indicating that they'll be able to manipulate the universe with all of this false information that they are you. And so this is how the destiny swap would take place. And in order for a destiny swap to happen, they also have to do something called a death spell, which is why you'll be depressed, why you'll be in bed, why you'll be sick, why you'll have endings. Because a death spell is not just, oh my God, she's dead. No. It's like death to your finances, death to your health, death to your relationships, death to everything. So endings to anything that makes you you, or that you need in order to survive. That's why they attack all areas of your life. And that's why it's important that they get this smear campaign happening, and that they isolate you in such a way that you feel alone, so that you can either do it yourself or develop like a heart attack or something, God forbids, because of all the pressure that they're putting onto you, that it'll naturally cause death, right? Because death doesn't only happen through like, oh my God, I'm coming, I'm gonna unalive, stress can cause a heart attack or an illness from the inside. That's why everything starts at the spirit first, right? So that's how that works. And I can speak about it because I've experienced it. And at this moment, I still have people who keep trying to do destiny swaps. And, this thing would have worked. Like on other people, this would have worked. This has worked many times, because they're able to fool the universe, right? But then there are people who are chosen, right? Whose destinies are not to be touched, right? And so, because I am a tool that is being used by the Most High God, I was used as the bait to get these people to justice, because it's not the first time that they do it, right? So unbeknownst to me, I was being used by the Most High God to bring these people into justice. But they are so comfortable doing this because it's worked so many times before, right? They've been able to do destiny swaps with other people and leave them either in a mental institution, leave them in prison, getting them locked up, getting them involved with the justice system for whatever reason, or completely unaliving them, which is why it's important that we heal.